All right, welcome back to Random City Sportsballers. We're back for another end of the week recap. I want to let you know how things are coming along for me, and I also want to let you know at this point of the season, what do we have? About 20 games behind us. 20, it's not been a lot of games. Okay, we still have most of the season left. So, I know that a lot of folks, you're looking at some of your players right now, and you're worried that they're not producing the way they should. Well, for the most part, that's okay. They're going to come back around. This is just a slump for a lot of players. Now, sometimes for pitchers, I am worried about some of the pitchers. Kevin Gausman, we know he had shoulder trouble in spring training, and we know his velocity is down. It's just he is not producing the way we're accustomed to seeing Kevin Gausman produce. We don't want to see him spend some time on the injured list, but I don't know. It's not going well for him, and he may be suffering from that shoulder still. But then there's other fellas like, oh boy, if you drafted Spencer Strider, which I did in a couple of leagues, that's a rough loss. I'm glad Spencer Strider is going to be able to recover, but we're going to be without him for the season. So that's a first round pick that just that's out for the season. And there have been others. Shane Bieber, I'm thinking, he was doing some good things for me. But other than that, overall, everything is going well. I am definitely not worried. I'm actually quite happy with where I'm at. I'm assuming you are probably too. So let's take a look at where we're at. Remember last week we had three teams that were not in playoff position. So let's take a look at where we're at now. This first team, Random City Sportsballers, went from 6th place, lost 2-8 on a tragic week. Look at these numbers. 3 home runs for the week. That's just terrible. The pitching numbers were good. 4 wins, 2 saves, 67 strikeouts in 68 innings, a 2.5 ERA, and a 1.0 whip. It's just these batting numbers gave me nothing to work with. So I lost 2-8, and that puts me down in 11th place for that one. So there's our first team that's not in playoff position. Random City Sportsballers C6. This is where I had drafted Spencer Strider in my first round. Well, this one was a decent week, but look at these numbers here. ERA at 2.01, WHIP 0.99. That's great. 8 saves. We know that I went with a lot of relievers in this one. Better batting numbers, but not quite what I needed to get some wins there. I won batting average. I told you guys that would happen. You're going to win batting average without even trying sometimes. So, but they're also not in playoff position. But I did go from 6-14 to 11-19. Nothing great there, but I also have, fellas, I have seen, and this is fact, a team can go from 12th place at the All-Star break to making the playoffs. So there's a lot of time left, okay? All right, so that's team number 2 that is not in the playoffs. Then we go on to Random City Sportsballers F2, where not great numbers, good numbers over here in my pitching category, They're in 6th place, moved up from 10th place. We've got staying in 3rd place is Random City Sportsballers C3. Good set of numbers in both categories. Happy with that. Random City Sportsballers C2 from 4th place to 3rd place on a 5-4 win. Good numbers. Well, I have no saves. This is one where I did not really draft after any closers, and if you take a look, Bednar is my only closer that I have in here, and we know he's not doing great. There's Gausman. So I'm feeling pretty good that they are in 3rd place with those issues that are happening there. And Random City Sportsballers letter C. Taking a loss this week to move from 3rd place down to 5th place, but still in the playoffs. And Random City Sportsballers Winners League, 3rd place down to 6th place on a big loss, 2-8. Not great numbers, but not terrible, so I'm not really upset about that. The guy I played, obviously, look, he had 7 wins and 8 saves on 56 innings. And 1.6 and 0.98. Good week for him. And moving on, Empire Strikes Out, love that name, has moved into 3rd place, moved up from 7th place to 3rd place. Good numbers across the board. Everything's pretty good. one batting average 244 to 243, and I don't draft for batting average. And we move along, moving from second place into staying in second place. Pretty good numbers across the board. Random City Sportsballers C5 moved from 5th place to 3rd place. And that's pretty good numbers again. I'm happy with the numbers. I don't care about that batting average being that low. Random City Sportsballers C4 fell from 2nd place to 6th place on a big loss again, a 3-7. But decent numbers, could have been better. Just looking at it, and I'm going, wow, this guy, look at the 93 innings. Of course he beat me in strikeouts. But I had a great ERA and whip, and I got some saves that gave me that. Okay, moving on. Random City Sportsballers F3 stays in 1st place. And last but not least, Random City Sportsballers WK, 2nd place stayed in 2nd place. Good numbers across the board there too. So we're looking at 2 teams that are not currently in the playoffs, and there's a lot of season left, fellas. There's so much season left. Don't let yourself fall into that trap where you go, oh no, I've got to start cutting Marcus Semien, or I'm going to be cutting Nolan. Don't go out there and panic about your big players, okay? These fellas, they will get their numbers. There's a slump for some of them right now. Be concerned about fellas like Kevin Gausman, because that loss in velocity, I mean, I think that's gonna translate into a bad season. So be glad you didn't draft him in every league, because if you're going to lose him in a few, or if he's going to have a bad season, you only want it to be in a few leagues. You don't want it to be across the board. But so here we are, the end of week 3, and we have got only 2 teams that are not currently in a playoff spot, but they're only a few games out of the playoffs. That can be made up with one big week, but also the teams that are currently in the playoffs could get knocked out of the playoffs with one bad week. So do not overemphasize anything that's happening. It's early in the season. There's a lot of time left. You still got a lot of things you're going to have to do. And for me personally, one of the things that's hurting all of my teams that I have him on, which is I think 7, is Paul Skeens. Paul Skeens is an empty spot on my roster essentially, but when he gets called up, that's going to improve my pitching numbers across the board, I assume. You know, we don't know about injuries that could happen. We don't know exactly how he's going to respond to big league batting. So I do have faith in him, though. I think the kid is a dynamo. Anyways, make sure that you don't go out there and be too worried. Don't go out there and be too thrilled. Stay calm. Keep making your moves on your team. Watch the waivers, because someone else is going to drop some of these big names, and you can pounce. All right. Anyways, thanks for tuning in, fellas, and we'll give you another update in a week.